Welcome to our inaugural IBO Entrepreneur Session. We did have no idea how this was going to go, who was going to want to attend, who was going to even sign up to volunteer to run these sessions. And when Brian Moran said he would step up to do one, we jumped on it. So thank you, Brian, for being our test case here, our guinea pig, if you will.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you to the IBO for supporting this. For a long time, those of us who are entrepreneurs have wanted something like this to come through the IBO to bring us together, but also to share what we know, what we've learned to help other people who are at different stages of the entrepreneurship journey. This is really intended to serve the IBO community of entrepreneurs and also those who want to either launch their own businesses and are looking for guidance, or people who want to just be more entrepreneurial in the way they approach their work. Entrepreneurship by its nature is iterative, so a constant learning, adjusting, improvement is what we all do. This entrepreneur track from the IBO is intended to be that way also. So please help us by your suggestions, your comments, your thoughts on different ways that we can approach this content delivery for you. It's meant to be innovative. So Brian, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm hoping that these sessions will not all be web delivery, Zoom delivery. They should be immersive. They should be creative. If you have a retail or an experiential business, bring the IBO there. Show us what you've learned and how you've done that. Be really creative in your approach to how we're doing this, and this will transform the way we all learn. We all learn in different ways, right? We will eventually be posting the requests for topics of interest from the membership. So if you have something you'd like to learn, you don't necessarily have to be the one to deliver it. Give us that suggestion and we'll keep a running list on the entrepreneur page, and other people hopefully will step in and step up to deliver that content to you. And certainly, it goes without saying, if you have content as an entrepreneur that you would like to share, that you feel capable of sharing, please do that. That's what this is intended for also. We are going to have Q&A throughout the session. Please drop your questions into the chat. And at the end of the session, I will go through those with Brian, and we'll try to cover as many as we can. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Brian, and he's going to share with you something of tremendous value. And this is also going to be recorded and posted to the entrepreneurship page on the IBO site, so you can reference it in the future. So there you go. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Colleen. And thank you, Nori, for the opportunity. I got the 3 E's to present this workshop that I give along with my co-founder Jocelyn Ring today. So I'm going to quickly share my screen and we'll get this party started. So let me go to the front screen. Everybody can see my screen, I'm assuming. Fantastic. All right. So for the next 40 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about a GPS plan for your business. And I've been teaching this for a while, and I'll get into it, but my goal today is to make this informal, informative, and interactive. So I hope you have questions at the end. As Eileen said, please put them in the chat. And if we don't get to them in this session, I promise you that I will follow up with an email to answer your questions. All right. Bricks or sticks, writing your company's GPS plan for 2023, 2024. Real quick, how did we come up with the name Bricks or Sticks? Well, about a year and a half ago, as I said, my co-founder, Jocelyn Ring, who's on this webinar, and I were talking, and we're talking about everything that happened to businesses during the pandemic. And we got into why did some succeed and why did some fail? And the result of that conversation was it was largely in their foundations of their companies. And out of just kind of that conversation came the title Bricks or Sticks. We had a play on the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf, which represented the pandemic. And if your business was made out of sticks or hay, it didn't survive. And yet the bricks, the business that was made out of bricks not only survived, but actually thrived. And so we started getting into that. And what came out of it was a workshop, a 4-week workshop, which we created for business owners and launched last October. And we've had tremendous success with it. We have 2 workshops running this month. One is with Belfast, Ireland. We're doing a 4-week workshop there. And the other one is sponsored by Principal Financial, and we're giving that in the US. So what you're going to get is a 4-week workshop in 45 minutes. So wish me luck. All right, my background in a nutshell. I spent 22 years in publishing, mostly magazines and newspapers for business owners. I was at the Wall Street Journal, Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur magazine. I had my own publishing company, and we published, among other titles, the SBA's national magazine called Small Business Success. And I currently run a couple of companies. When I left the Journal in 2012, I started Moran and Associates, which then spun off Small Business Edge. And as I said last year, Bricks or Sticks. And in essence, all 3 of those companies do 2 things. We help business owners run better companies, and we help marketers better target the small to mid-sized business market. But my joy in what I do, regardless of the company that I represent, is helping business owners build solid foundations for their companies and for them to realize their dreams. So I'm taking everything that I've learned in the last 33 years and I'll apply it to this workshop along with Jocelyn. So here's what you can expect today. All right. 4 weeks, 45 minutes. I'm on my 2nd cup of coffee and I'm hoping it kicks in. But here are 6 things that I want you to think about today, and hope you have a pen and paper because I want you to write stuff down. All right. We break our workshop into 4 pillars. The first pillar is we talk about what type of business owner you are. That almost sounds silly, right? Well, I know what type of business owner. Well, you'd be surprised. But we're also going to talk about forks in the road and why it's important to know what type of business owner you are. Pillar 2, we talk about mindsets: reactive, proactive, predictive. The third pillar is where we really get into the heart of it. And that is the GPS plan, the what if game. We play contingency planning. And then we talk about something called DCA, and we call it the secret sauce to your success in 2023. Now, I'm missing the 4th pillar, which is on branding, just because of time today, and also because that's Jocelyn's specialty. I mean, she really is an amazing branding expert and leadership expert. And I know if I screwed that up, I wouldn't hear the end of it. So I'm going to leave that aside for Jocelyn. But in the end, and she may talk about it in the questions, but in the end, we're going to put it all together for you so that you leave this webinar today with a really good sense of what a GPS plan might look like for your business the rest of this year and next year. All right. So let's get into it. What type of business owner are you? I want you all to think about this, right? We're all on, it's very visual today. I want you to picture all of us on a path, or even separate paths, but heading towards the same destination, which is December 31st, 2023. Now that's exactly 110 days away from today. So where do you want your business to be on December 31st? I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about that. We're all gathering at Colleen's house for a nice brunch, and everybody's talking about, and we're all going to say, did you hit your strategic goal? What was that? Was it a revenue number? Was it a number of new clients? And it could be multiple goals, but what was your goal or goals, and did you hit it? And if you did, fantastic, cheers. But if you didn't, why didn't you? What happened? What broke down along the way between today and the end of the year that prevented you from achieving success? Well, it all starts with what type of business owner are you? Okay, now there are 3 types in my world. There's the small business owner at one end, and the small business owner, as you can imagine, I like to think of them as Main Street businesses: nail salon, pizzeria, dry cleaner, right? They have one business, or they have one product or one service, and that's what they want. They don't want to be 10 locations, 20 locations, 100 employees. They want to make that one opportunity as profitable as they can make it. and they largely look at expenses. They largely look at purchases for their business as expenses. All right. At the other end is the entrepreneur. Now, we all have an idea in our minds what an entrepreneur is, right? That's maybe Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, but they're even smaller than that. But they're business owners who see their companies largely in growth terms. All right. I may have 2 locations today, but in 10 years, I want 25 locations, 300 employees. I'm serving 5 different countries. So the mindset is all about growth. And they look at purchases for their business largely as investments. They're reinvesting it, and that work-life balance is not a priority for them. Their company is. I always found that there was this chasm in between small business owner and entrepreneur. Now, small business owners probably represent about 80% of all business owners, right? Entrepreneurs, less than 5%. And yet, every time I give a workshop, I say to people, how many people in here are entrepreneurs? And the majority of hands go up. And I laugh because I think, wow, in a world of business owners where entrepreneurs are 5%, I probably have 85% in this room. Then when I describe it, they go, oh, no. We're a passionate business owner. So I filled in that chasm between the two, and I added a third term, and I call it passionate business owner. Now, this is somebody who wants to be more than a small business owner, but doesn't really have the desire or drive to be an entrepreneur. They don't want their business to become unwieldy. They love what they do. They're passionate about it, and they'll take 2 or 3 locations or maybe 10, 15, 20 employees, but they don't want to go much beyond that. All right. Now, why is this important? It's important because all of us who own a business, regardless of what type of business owner you are, come to something called a fork in the road. Now, a fork in the road could be hiring a new employee, opening a new location, launching a new product or service, going international, buying a competitor, right? These are all decisions that you have to make that's going to affect your path on the way to success, on the way from here to December 31st. All right. Now, small business owners almost always say no to those opportunities. I don't really want to hire any more employees. I'll work harder. I'll work longer. Or I don't really want to open a new location. That's not who I am. The entrepreneur will almost always say yes to it. And even if they say no to an opportunity today, they reserve the right to come back to it if it's still there a year from now or less to revisit that fork in the road. But it's the passionate business owners. And I will tend to guess that the majority of the people either live today or watching this on demand fall into that category. And this is critical for you because most of the times you put the fork in the road, right? You say, I'm going to hire an employee. I'm going to open a new location in 5 months. I'm going to launch a new product or service down the road. So you physically put it there. Sometimes a fork in the road gets put there by somebody else. Somebody comes along and says, hey, I've got this great location on Main Street. It's perfect for your business. You should take it. Now you got to make a decision. Well, I wasn't planning on it for 6 to 9 months, but if it's here now, what do I do? Or this person just got laid off and they're absolutely perfect. They'd be great for your business. You should hire them. So you can see how these decisions that we have to make, sometimes they're ours, sometimes they get put in front of us. But regardless, knowing what type of business owner you are, it's going to make that decision a lot easier. It's when you don't know and you open a new location and in 6 months you say, oh, that was the worst mistake. Now I've got to shut down the location. I've got to let everybody go. I should never have done that. And it's a very expensive lesson, depending on what the fork was in the road that you chose. So first lesson, pillar 1, know what type of business owner you are and identify what forks in the road there may be for your business, whether you put them there or somebody else does between now and the end of the year. And then we move on to pillar 2. So that was 1 week right there. Pillar 2, let's talk about mindset. This is critical. All right. When I talk to business owners, they all say the same thing. You know what, Brian, that sounds great. I don't have the time. Well, I'd love to do that, but I don't have the time. How are you doing? I'm so busy. All right. Everything revolves around time. And you know what time is? It is the single most important asset in your business. Time. We all get the same amount. When people ask me, what's the difference between really successful people, and people who struggle? I say, the way they manage their time. So I'd love for you to write that down. What type of business owner am I? Write it down. And then what type of mindset do I have? Now, there are three types. There's reactive, proactive, predictive. All right, let me just cross predictive off the list right now, because predictive is somebody who can not only see 3, 6 months from now, they can see 3 and 5 and 10 years down the road. They know exactly where they want to go. They know how they're going to get there and what the resources are going to be that they're going to need in order to achieve that. Now, that's not to say they don't make mistakes. They do, but it never slows them down. Like they're just pedal to the metal and I'm going. And I think largely you were born with that kind of mindset. So if that's you, congratulations. I want to come work for you because I'd love to see that ride. The rest of us, we operate in a reactive and proactive mindset. Okay. And let me give you an example, very easy one that we're all going to be able to identify with. You wake up in the morning, the phone is next to your bed, and you pick it up and you look at it and you go, damn, crap, damn, right? Before your feet hit the floor, I got a problem with an employee. I got a problem with a customer. I got a problem with a vendor. I got a problem with the order. So you don't put on your regular clothes. You put on your fireman's jacket and you go put out fires. That literally is the first thing you do. You're answering work emails before you get out of bed. You have just given up your day's agenda to other people. And you're not going to be able to get the things done that you want to get done because you need to get the stuff done that they need you to get done. And that's the way it works. Now, a proactive mindset, and this is hard to do. It's taken me a long time, and I still struggle with it. When you wake up in the morning, you decide, I'm going to work from 8 to 5 today, or I'm going to work from 8 to 6 or 9 to 6, whatever the hours are, the office hours that you have for your business, you write them down. I'm going to work 9 to 5 today. Okay. And I wake up at 7. 7 to 9 is your time. It's called my time to meditate, to work out, to eat breakfast, to make some phone calls to people, read the paper. It's to do whatever I want. And I don't feel guilty about it. All right. 9 to 5, that's prime time. That's where you operate and you get everything done during your workday. 5 to 6 is downtime. And I'll talk about the everyday and non-essential items that you need to work on. 6 o'clock on is my time. When I have done this, and it hasn't always worked out for me, but when I have done that, it is a remarkable day for me. It's unlike anything you can imagine. So in that my time, you're not thinking about work. Now think about this: professional athletes who get paid millions and millions of dollars. They don't step out onto a basketball court and start playing basketball. They don't go up to the first tee without hitting practice shots, right? They warm up. They warm up to execution. So think about those, whether it's an hour or 2 hours in the morning. I'm warming up to the day, right? And then somebody's mic is on, by the way. When you warm up to the day, and then when it's prime time, you put everything you're going to do into 4 categories. All right. Urgent, important, everyday, non-essential. Now, again, a lot of this stuff that I'm telling you today, I'm not the originator of it. I've gathered it and curated it over the years, but I know this stuff works. Urgent, important, everyday, non-essential. What is urgent in my world? So I'm looking at Colleen and I'm saying to Colleen, I have to call Colleen today at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's urgent. I'm going to be giving a webinar for the IBO. That's urgent because it's going to happen today. There's a deadline. Important is anything that's going to happen this week, that needs to happen this week. I got to get a proposal to somebody by Friday. Well, it's important now because today's Tuesday. If I don't do anything until Friday, urgent has just become important has just become urgent. So urgent is today, important is this week. And you could take a big project and carve it up into little slices because you're not going to get the whole project done today. So just say, I'm going to get phase 1 done today. I'm going to get phase 2 done tomorrow, phase 3, phase 4, etc. Everything else is everyday and non-essential. And you take 2 folders and you put them off to the side because those are the things you're going to take care of in your downtime between 5 and 6 o'clock at night. If you're doing that stuff at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're losing money. All right. If you take a phone call from a buddy to talk about the Jets game last night, I'm a Jets fan. I have not answered any texts or any phone calls because that's going to be hours. All right. Trying to explain what happened. That's time robbers, right? Those are people who I love them, but 30 minutes, 45 minutes of my day when I could easily have that conversation after 6 o'clock at night. You got to be mindful of that. So write that word down, time robbers. Who's stealing your time? All of this is leading to, by the way, the GPS plan, which we get to. But once your prime time is over, you go into downtime, you write down all of the urgent and important things you need to get done the next day. 6 o'clock, you close your computer. And now it's my time. Recharge your battery, think about your day, debrief, whatever, get your mindset, you're ready for the next day. Here's one thing that I can almost guarantee you. If you do this, you know that expression, don't work harder, work smarter. This is what they're talking about. All right. Be efficient with your time. Don't take 2 hours to do something that could take 20 minutes. Don't do something that's everyday and non-essential when you can either outsource it or wait till downtime in order to do it. So that's mindset. That's pillar 2. Pillar 3, and how are we doing on time? Okay, we're good. We got about 20 minutes. This is the good stuff. All right. Now, writing a GPS plan, I'm going to discuss on the next 2 slides. So let me get into DCA. All right. Everybody should write this down. DCA, discipline, commitment, accountability. I've talked to thousands of entrepreneurs in my life and in my career. And there's one constant theme among all of them. All right. They all have discipline, commitment, and accountability, not to everything they do. And they've admitted as much. I mean, entrepreneurs fail. Even the most successful people in the world fail. You know, Michael Jordan didn't win every game. Tiger Woods didn't win every golf tournament. And the Jets didn't win the Super Bowl. But when they didn't win, it's because of one of 3 things. They didn't have the discipline. They didn't have the commitment, or they lacked accountability, and somehow failure creeped in. Discipline as opposed to faith. There's a great excerpt from a book called Good to Great. Jim Collins wrote it. It's called the Stockdale Paradox. And I used to have this written on a whiteboard in my office where I am now. It was, you must never confuse faith, which you can't afford to lose, with the discipline you're going to need to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they may be. We all need faith, right? At some point in the last 3 years, that's all we went on was faith, right? Faith that we're going to come out of this and our business is going to be still standing and everyone's going to be okay. But you needed the discipline in order to walk through the darkest, deepest swamps and valleys, right? In order to get to where we are today. You got to have faith, but you need discipline. Second thing is commitment versus motivation. We're all motivated by success. Every one of us is motivated by the goal we just wrote down on our piece of paper on December 31st. Here's where I want to be. Man, that's a good looking number. I would love to hit that number. I'm motivated by that number, but are you committed to it? Because there'll be obstacles. It's not a straight path to success. There are obstacles, right? You're going to hit them. And what happens when you hit them? Do you suddenly lower your goal? Do you turn and walk home? Do you put your head in the sand? Right? You need to be committed to that goal every single day, 110 days. And then lastly, and this is key, accountability. When I ask people who holds you accountable, and they say, oh, I do. Nobody is harder on themselves than me. I call that bullshit. Okay. You need somebody who's going to pick you up and dust you off and give you a hug if you need it, and give you a smack on the rear end if you need it. Somebody else needs to know what your goals are and needs to know they're going to see things and hear things and look at things that you don't see. And they're going to be the ones that hold you accountable. They're going to make sure you have the discipline and the commitment. So that's something you want to write down on that piece of paper. Who holds me accountable? I always say that every good business has at least a board of advisors. And if they're really successful, that becomes a board of directors. But who are your advisors? Who knows where you want to go? Who knows when you're down? Who knows when to pick you up? Lastly, we play the what if game because, as I just said, nothing is a straight line. There's no straight line to success. If you are a football fan, last night, the New York Jets playing the Buffalo Bills, Aaron Rodgers, everybody should know who Aaron Rodgers is, right? He's been all over the news and everything. 4 plays into the first game, it looks like he tore his Achilles. He's out for the season. So if the Jets staff was smart, somewhere along the lines, they would have said, what if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt in the first game of the season? Because that's happened. That happened to Chad Pennington. That happened to Vinny Testaverde, right? And when they had huge expectations, what if this happens in my business? What are we going to do? So the first question I always ask my clients is, what if you become disabled? What's going to happen to your business? How are you going to pay your bills? It's a scary thought, but you need to answer that question. Before you do anything else, answer that question. Do I have disability insurance? Who would take over my business? How do I pay my bills? If it's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, all right? And then you ask 10 more questions. What if we get hacked? What if the building that I'm in burns down? What if my computer crashes? Am I backing it up? That's a $5 solution to back up your data to the cloud. And yet I still meet business owners. Everything that they own is on a single computer. 10 questions, what if, and then just write down the question and write down the answer. And that's a good exercise to do with your accountability coach or your advisors, because again, they're going to see things and hear things that you don't see. Now, there are 2 ways to do business. There's the weeds of the business. There's the clouds of the business. In the weeds of the business, you can see 3 to 5 feet in front of you, and it's all about execution. How do I execute on this plan that I just put together? That's when you're in that reactive mindset too, by the way. All right. Reactive mindset, stuff comes up, I'm swatting it away and I'm moving to where my destination is. The clouds of your business, that's 20,000 feet. You're looking down on your business and you're saying, okay, here's where I am right now. Here's where I was. More importantly, here's where I want to be. How do I get there? All right. That's strategy. That's planning. That's GPS stuff. Okay. It's a lot easier to do from 20,000 feet when you take a step back from the business, turn off your phone, have a meeting with your key advisors, anybody who works in your company, maybe even customers and vendors and advisors, and say, we have 110 days left in the year. Here's where I want to be. Help me figure out a way to get there. And that's the weeds versus the clouds. All right. Let's talk about the 9 components of a GPS plan. All right, we've got 14 minutes. Every business, regardless of your size, should have these 9 components in a GPS plan. Now, I break them down. Jocelyn and I break them down into the core 4 and what we call the 5 that drive. For this, I called it the next 5. But the core 4 of your GPS plan: sales, financials, brand, and HR. All right. And this is for every single size business. It would be impossible for me to do a thorough job on this because, again, we actually took this and made it an entire 4-week workshop. So I'm going to give this to you in 10 minutes. But remember, everything that we're talking about today is a work in progress, right? This doesn't start and end here. For those of you who are buying into this, you realize that this is just the beginning of the rest of your career, your business life. That now you're going to have a GPS plan. You're going to start thinking about weeds and clouds and what if games and accountability and brand. So hopefully this is just the start of our conversation. But the core four are sales, financials, brand, and HR. Sales and financials are the fuel that you put into your car that drive you to your destination. No fuel, no car, no destination. Sales, you should have a history. If you've been in business a while, you should have a monthly breakout of what sales have looked like and where your business has come from, whether you're a transactional type of business or it's about relationships and, month-long, pipeline activity that eventually leads to a sale. You want to look at where you are year to date, more importantly, what you have in the pipeline and what tools do you use to measure it? Is there a software? Is it a spreadsheet? Everything gets measured so that everything can be improved. Financials, this is a simple one. If you are a business owner, you need to have either a bookkeeper, an accountant, or both. Okay, maybe you have an accountant who does your bookkeeping. But if you're trying to do all these other things in your business, I have an expression for you. And you're trying to do this. Do what you do best and outsource the rest. All right. So that's it on financials. Brand. Most of us, I'm going to guess, myself included, get business, maybe it's some, maybe it's all, through referrals. Like I'm looking at Andre right now and I'm thinking, Andre is such a smart guy. He knows so much about small business. Somebody's going to be doing an interview and he would be perfect for it. So I say to that guy, hey, you should interview Andre. He's this, 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 and this. Now I just described Andre's brand, at least my perception of it. So what is this, 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 and this? How did I describe Andre? He's smart, he's professional, he's funny, and he's charismatic. Okay. First four words that come to mind. In your brand, that's you have two types of brands. You have your personal brand, and then you have your company brand. And it's so much more than a logo. It's the DNA of who you are and what you represent in your market. It's so important to control the narrative. So if Andre knows that I'm referring business to him, he's going to spend time with me and he's going to educate me on what his brand is. Hey, Brian, I appreciate that referral so much. That was great. You know what, though? They thought I did this when I really do that. So here's what I do. And if there's anybody else that you think I'm a good fit for, man, I appreciate it. And I'd love to reciprocate any chance I get. Okay, beautiful. I appreciate you educating me. And I know people who could do business with you. But that's the brand. What is my personal brand? What is my company brand? Write down 3 or 4 words for each and see if that's what other people are saying. Lastly, HR. Now, I'm only one person in a company. Yeah, but do you pay people to help you achieve your goals? Do you pay outside sales? Do you pay marketing help? Do you pay other vendors? Anybody who you are writing a check to falls into that HR category because they are enlisted to help you achieve your goals. So do they understand your story as well as you do? Because they're either representing you in the marketplace or they're part of your ecosystem. All right, the next 5. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're still good. The next 5: ecosystem, marketing, research, competition, and networking. Now, ecosystem is your world. Okay, it's you, it is your competition, it's people in the media, it's industry experts, it's your vendors, your partners, your team. It's just everybody that's wrapped in your world. How well do they know your story? How well do you operate with them? Where's the weakest link in that system? If you're somebody who buys from a supplier and that supplier goes down, what happens to your business? Right? So you want to examine your ecosystem. You want to give it a 360-degree view on a regular basis. Maybe that's twice a year, once a quarter. But how's everybody doing in here? When's the last time I swapped out somebody in my ecosystem? All right. Or how am I doing with the relationship? Here's a key part. Who are the A-list of people in my ecosystem that are most going to be most responsible for my success next year or this year? Right? Top 20 people, referral, employee, great customer, great partner. Write those names down on a piece of paper and then write 4 columns next to it. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And where are you connected with those people? All right, you have 4 columns on social media and you have 20 people. And you're going to say, okay, that's 80 opportunities to connect with the 20 most important people in my world on social media. I'll give you $1 for every number over 40. You have 80 boxes, 20 most important people in your world. I'm going to guess that you're connected with them in less than half the spaces. Now, some of you might say, you know what? I don't really use Facebook, or I only use that for personal reasons. Or Instagram, I'm not really big on it. Yeah, LinkedIn, I should go on that more. Twitter, it's a mess, whatever. If you remember what happened in the pandemic, in-person gatherings completely fell off the table, right? And you said, oh my God, how else can I stay connected to my ecosystem? Well, I guess I can text them, I can email them, I can call them, I can send them a piece of physical mail. Like those 4 things. And if you noticed, all of those things tripled at least, right? All of a sudden, everybody starts emailing me and Colleen and Eileen every single day. And their texting got crazy. And then, of course, there was Zoom fatigue. But over in the corner was this thing called social media. And that was the 6th arrow in your quiver. That's the thing that said, I can do this and I can stay connected to everybody in my ecosystem in a non-invasive manner. So when Colleen posts something on LinkedIn and she writes a blog post and I like it, and I say, Colleen, that's really great. I love points number 3 and 5. Colleen's not going to say, you know what, Brian, stop liking my stuff. Okay. Just, I get it. You want to stay in touch with me, but if I need you, I'll let you know. That's what she's doing if I'm texting her, or I'm calling her, or I'm emailing her, because that's all like that push notification. She's like, enough. I can't get through my day. But if she took the time to write something and I like it, comment on it, and share it, she's going to say thank you. And at some point, the rule of reciprocity kicks in. And she's going to do it for me. She's going to like something I posted. She's going to comment on it. And those are the little pings that we get. That's how we stay in touch in a non-invasive way with the people in our ecosystem. All right. All right. I'm all of a sudden I'm kicking into 4-week mode. I got to get back. Marketing. Marketing supports branding. All right. Marketing reports to branding. Email marketing, social media, any kind of campaigns that you do, digital campaigns, it all needs to reflect your brand and the core components. That's how you can control a narrative. That's how you can let people know what type of product or service you offer, what type of company you are, how to refer your business. It's you're talking about the things that they want to solve, problems that they want to solve, but you're doing it in a language that represents your unique selling proposition. It's what you do better than all your competitors, and yet it still solves your client's problem. Research, critical. There's a saying in sales that successful selling is 90% preparation and 10% presentation. 90% preparation, 10% presentation. That 90% prep work is in research. So what research are you using to support your company's message and your brand and the value of the product or service that you're offering? All right, what are the economic indicators you're using to measure which direction the market is heading in? Is it going up? Is it going down? And you can almost predict the future as a result. Well, okay, I'm in the residential home space, and I see interest rates going up, all right, that's going to mean less sales. Maybe that's going to mean more home improvements. Maybe people go, okay, let's focus on that. But research is critical. What research tools do you use to gather your information? Are they trustworthy? Who are the people in the media that you should be following on social media who report the news that you're looking for? Competition. When you win a piece of business, the first thing you should say to your client is, thank you. The second thing you should say is, why did you pick me? Now, I promise you, if you're still in the honeymoon phase with them, they're not going to say, oh, you know what? That is a good point. Why did I pick you? They're going to tell you, oh, because of this, this, and this. We love what you do. Okay. Now, you can also ask them, if you have that kind of relationship with them, who else were you considering? Right? The more you can find out about your competition, whether you win a business or lose a business, the more you can prepare for future opportunities where you're going to go up against them. So when you lose a piece of business, say, you know what, not a problem. I guess, we weren't a right fit for you. But can I ask you, what did you decide to do? Now, most times people think, oh, somebody else got that business. But it could also be, well, we had some internal changes and we're going to revisit this in 6 months, and say, fantastic. You put them back in the pipeline. So don't be afraid to ask, when you win business, when you lose business, who did you compete against? Why did you make that decision? That helps you further down the road. Because remember this, people buy from you for different reasons. Why did I bought from you based on convenience or quality, customer service, right? Unique product. And then the last thing is networking. There is, even for introverts, okay, there is a method to networking to help other people, to get other people to help you achieve your goals. It's got to be reciprocal. If you go into an event and it's just take, and all you do is you talk about yourself and your business and your brand and your struggles and that, people are just going to walk away from you. They don't want to do business with you. They don't want to talk to you. So remember this, and I'll say this about networking. There are 2 types of people who walk into a party. The first one walks in and says, here I am. And then there's the second person who walks in and says, there you are. Be the second person. Be the second person, and your networking will turn into referrals, will turn into people supporting your business, and suddenly your A-list grows from 20 to 40. All right, those are the 9 components of it, okay? And I kind of did this. I did this because we're at 10:45. I took these next 2 slides and I broke them down into that. So sales, financials, brand, HR, that's your core 4. Okay, that's what you focus on first. The next 5, all right, that's like a support system. Marketing supports brand, competition supports sales, right? So everything is in a support mode in part 2, but you really want to have all of them laid out and an answer for how you're going to address each of these 9 areas in the next 110 days in order to be successful. All right, I'm bringing it home, Eileen. Putting it all together. All right, so now you've got your new business foundation. Now your business foundation is made out of bricks. I'm going to give you 5 things to do. Put it all together. This is a work in progress. It's not one and done. Every single day. The GPS plan that you put together is a living, breathing document. It should sit on your desk somewhere. You regularly review it, you test it, you edit it, you execute it, because success is never a straight line. Use this foundation to grow your business. This, what I'm doing here, this is a platform, okay? This is your foundation. Your platform is only as good as your foundation. Weak foundation, your platform crashes. So whatever structure you create to sell your products or services is only as good as the foundation you built it on. And then lastly, trust the process, because again, you're going to have mountaintop moments, you're going to have valleys. Okay. When you're in the valley, stay the course. Talk to people, figure out maybe you need to alter your plan a little bit. Maybe you need to double down on some areas. Maybe it's just the nature of the market that you are, getting slammed right now. But as long as you stay with it, you have the discipline, the commitment, the accountability. In the end, here's the thing. In the end, you may miss your goal. There's no guarantee that you hit it if you do this. But if you miss it, you miss it by an inch. You don't do this, you're going to miss it by 100 miles. Unless, of course, you have some guardian angel on your back and things go your way. The probability of success is much greater when you can map it out, visualize it, and treat it like a work in progress. Okay. And with that, I'm done. That's my contact information. Any questions you have that don't get answered right now, you can email me, brian@bricksorsticks.com. There's my social media handles, and there's our website. Everyone, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. And thank you to Eileen, Colleen, and Noreen for choosing me to be first. I hope I didn't let you down.
No, this is great. I mean, I think what we're seeing in the chat is all of the kudos for this. I think we're all just stuffed with great information right now. So I think the questions will, right, and the questions will come as we unwind some of this over the next few days. Tremendous content, Brian. Can't thank you enough. I think that one of the areas that I think about with my business specifically that wasn't covered, so I'll lob a question in lieu of the participants today. You didn't talk about partners as much, and maybe that's week 3 or week 4, but I think as small business owners, entrepreneurs, passionate business owners, we often look to partners to extend not only our brand, but our service offerings, either as a bolt-in or a complementary service. Can you just talk briefly about managing, well, first of all, sourcing those relationships, but managing them to mutual advantage?
So that's called inorganic growth. Okay. And there are 3 types of inorganic growth. There's partnership, there's strategic alliance, and then there's acquisition, mergers and acquisition. The easiest thing to do is a partnership. And that's usually a loosely organized, relationship. I think of it as dating, engagement, marriage is the way you look at it. Inorganic growth. We're dating. All right. It's a partnership. I'll promote your product. You promote my product to our audiences. We don't have great expectations. And historically, one partner usually winds up doing a lot more than the other partner. And in the end, they say, you know what, that didn't really work out. But a good partnership, the successful one, will have a timeline, expectations, and make them small to begin with. Don't set yourself up to fail in a partnership. So you got 110 days left, and you go, you know what? I'd love to partner with this company for the upcoming holidays. Okay. I'll promote your product on my site. You promote mine, and I'll give your audience a special discount, and it'll be a promo code, and let's see what business comes in. And maybe I'm looking for 5 new orders or 10 new orders or whatever it is. And if it works, we can do more next year. A strategic alliance is a more formal arrangement. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put our resources into this, whether it's manpower or money or time. That's one that you usually get in writing, and there are expectations. And then obviously mergers and acquisition is we're buying you.
Sure.
Or you're buying us. And
sure.
So, but that's for a lot of the people on this call and who may watch it on demand, probably focusing on partnerships, and just go in there with reasonable expectations about it.
And I think this is also why you would recommend a really great lawyer at the outset, just for the IP protection and contractual structures.
You're not giving up that in a partnership. You never should. There shouldn't be, you don't need an NDA for a partnership. But partnership is, let's shake hands, let's hope for the best. And if you don't treat it the way I'm going to treat it. You don't want to have like a debt, like, no. You said you would do this for a full year. Well, I'm out. It's 3 weeks. This sucks. That's when you start to get into strategic alliances is probably when you would want an attorney.
Gotcha. Just an update. It was a complete tear of the ACL and he's out for the season. Just
There you go.
so everybody's clear.
What?
My phone just blew up with that one.
Yeah.
As a Giants fan. So.
Yeah. Well, that is the what if game though. What if he gets hurt? Everybody should look at that and apply it to their own business. I mean, think about the Jets, right? They put all of those eggs into the Aaron Rodgers basket and now it's done. The hype and everything. What a great business lesson.
Yeah. So for those of us who know Bill McDermott, who used to be the CEO of SAP, he has a brilliant story about his own disability, completely unexpected, as most of them are, but how it really changed his approach to his work, his place on the earth, and his family. And it really, I think for a lot of business owners, large and small, it really helped illustrate. And I now use that in all of my presentations when we talk about diversity. And I say there's one group in your diversity work that any one of us on any day can become a member of, even if, clearly we don't want to, right? So,
right.
Brian, this has been fantastic. I think this has been an amazing way for us to launch this entrepreneur track. Everyone on the call and everyone who might still be tuning in on the on-demand video, this is exactly what we want to do. We want to share ideas. We want to share what we've learned. We want to bring people together. And as Brian talked about, we want to use these networks. The reason we're members of the IBO is to connect with each other meaningfully, but also to leverage each other and to partner with each other in ways that really accelerate the businesses that each of us are trying so hard to maintain. So I thank everybody for your time.
Eileen.
Yeah.
Eileen? Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Colleen had a question.
I didn't see it. Sorry.
I would love to answer this for anybody who's listening. It says, I am reactive and in the weeds. My partner is proactive and in the clouds. Do you have recommendations on how to best meet in the middle for productive conversations? Meet in the middle. You know what? So if Jocelyn is still on here, Jocelyn is everything that I am not. All right. We are a perfect complement to each other, which is why this Bricks or Sticks company works so well together. She knows what she does well. She always tells me, stay in your lane and we'll be just fine. And so play to your strengths. Colleen, if you're not a cloud person, then let your partner run that aspect of the company and they'll pull you into the conversation. Colleen, we need to have a cloud meeting. We need to talk about strategy and planning, and they can drive that conversation and they can be proactive. If you are a killer in the weeds and in reactive situations, like you don't waste a lot of time when stuff pops up like whack-a-mole, you're like a pro at whack-a-mole, right? Then your partner should always defer those situations to you. Colleen, we got whack-a-mole today. No problem. I'm on it. And that's how you work together to move the business forward, because you understand your strengths, you understand your weaknesses, and you allow each other the opportunity to lead, right? You don't need to be in charge when you're in the clouds. Your partner doesn't need to be in charge when you're in the weeds. Hopefully that answers it. Okay.
She's going to try. That's what we're sensing from her nonverbal response. This is great. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. We'll cut you off now, and this will be posted, and you can slow it down and take notes and share it and send us your thoughts and who wants to be next, right? We've got a nice pipeline of people who volunteered for sessions, but we want to hear from all of you. So thank you for your time today.